Decision time is now. Donald Trump's persistent election denialism has undermined our democracy for the last 4 years. The consent of the governed and the process of free and fair elections with voting made easily accessible for everyone are the bedrock of liberty and democracy. And behind me is Liberty Island, where our great Statue of Liberty stands, representing the most treasured values and principles we as Americans hold dear. Donald Trump filed 62 lawsuits across the country challenging the 2020 election results. And in every one of those cases, his lawsuits were struck down by the courts. He lost every one of those suits because there was no credible evidence of any election problems, any voting problems in the amount of hundreds of thousands of votes that could change the presidential election in 2020. Yet, despite those failures of his attorneys over and over again, 62 times, he continued for the last 4 years denying the election. He does that to split America apart and to undermine the confidence in our great electoral tradition. This led to the January 6th attack upon our United States Capitol, which was nothing less than an attempt to stop Congress from certifying the 2020 election results in a clear overthrow of the constitutional obligations of our federal government. The violent MAGA mob violently attacked the Capitol building, physically beating and mauling law enforcement officers along the way, trampling, breaking windows, trampling, destroying property inside the Capitol building, and threatening the very lives of our vice president and our congressional representatives who are conducting the public's business under the United States Constitution. The eyewitnesses and the extensive video footage on record make clear just how violently close we came to losing the engine of our democracy on that day, which of course led to the congressional investigation of the January 6th insurrection, and which resulted in this report on the January 6th insurrection, which I have read all 814 pages. And after you read the 814 pages in this report, with every minute detail fleshed out and uncovered and displayed, I can assure you that you will realize that Donald Trump was no less than the traitor in chief, selling our country down the river for his personal political needs, his personal narcissistic whims. Of course, we all know that Donald Trump, it's been established that he's also the liar in chief. He's been lying about almost everything every day for the last 10 years or so while he's been in public life. He has no integrity. He has no character. He has no respectability and no credibility. Donald Trump should not be let within an inch of the Oval Office. It is no secret that over 200 high-ranking, credible, established Republican officials across the country have formally endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Most of Donald Trump's own Republican cabinet members in his former administration have endorsed Kamala Harris, and his General Joint Chiefs of Staff has already declared that he is a danger to democracy and he should never be allowed into the Oval Office or given the keys to the power of the White House and this country. That's already been established. In contrast, Kamala Harris and the coach Tim Walz team have character, have respectability, have compassion and empathy in their hearts. They respect the rule of law. They respect our Constitution. And I dare say, they will conduct themselves honorably in the Oval Office, in contrast to the former president. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no time left to dilly-dally. We have work to do. We have to put Kamala Harris into the White House on November 5th. It's just unreasonable to believe that Donald Trump could get back into the Oval Office. Kamala Harris has the experience, the love for America, the love for America's people in her heart to serve well, because she understands what public service actually is. As a former district attorney, a former prosecutor, a former attorney general, she understands what putting lawbreakers behind bars means. She's prosecuted the cartels who have trafficked human beings and drugs across the border. She understands that. And she understands what it means to protect the lives and the quality of life of all Americans. She comes from a middle-class family that is just like you and I. She understands our values. Tim Walz is a former teacher. He understands our values. This is the team. Put the human team into the Oval Office. Put the team who has true flesh and blood and who loves the people of America. Thank you very much. There's no time left to dilly-dally. Matter of fact, it's time to get to work and elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz on November 5th. Let's go do it for liberty's sake.